Welcome to the Panic Button. This is Nina. I'm Jesse, and today we have on Vicky. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Vicky. I host a small, tiny little platform on YouTube called Voices with Vicky. And I've been doing that for a little while. I've also been a recurring guest on Buck Angel and a couple other platforms as well. And I've known you guys for some time. And I love you guys and I love talking to you. And I'm so glad to be here. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. We're talking with Vicky because Vicky let us know a couple things about Alexis Blake anyways. And I'm pretty sure, wasn't Vicky the one who sent you the first Alexis Blake video that we reacted to?
Yes, and if they don't know who Alexis Blake is...
I think they know who Alexis Blake is, but go ahead.
Everybody does.
Trans woman content creator who doesn't like us very much.
Yeah.
So
apparently not, from what I saw.
So Alexis Blake did a video about us, reacting to us.
Reacting to someone else.
Yeah, and we are going to react to that with Vicky. So you want to do that?
You do not know how to do anything technological today? Oh my goodness.
I don't want to fuck.
She's taking the day off.
I can see that this is a me thing today and I'm not used to it. So we're going to start right here.
Oh gosh. There's always drama in the LGBT world, isn't there?
You'll get back into it.
Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alexis Blake. I am a trans woman. I share my life stories and opinions on social media. Today we're going to be reacting to a new channel that sort of popped up. I actually found them by another reaction, ironically. It's two lesbian women talking about things going on online. I'm nervously laughing because I've seen a little clip of what we're about to react to and it's hella cringy, I'm going to be honest.
I would like to also say that I think the clip that Alexis is referring to is that Joan person that we react to in this video. Joan found us on TikTok there and posted that we were terps.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know.
I don't know if anyone dug a little bit, but yeah. And then you'll find out. I dug a little bit into Joan. I don't know a lot about Jonah.
Gotcha.
Go fucking figure.
Gotcha.
But I think that's the video that Alexis is referring to, but not revealing sources, God forbid. So, you ready to keep going?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm sure if they ever saw that, they'll have a lot to say about me. That's absolutely fine. Have your opinion. I'm just going to give mine. But they're coming after a trans woman in this video. I've not seen any of the trans woman's content, so I'm going to just keep that to one side. I'm going in with this fresh eyes just to see what's going on. But from the few seconds I've seen, it's not the vibe. Anyway, let's watch some of it together.
Welcome to Panic Buttons, everyone. I'm Nina.
I'm not here.
It's like in your video.
So you are here.
Whoa!
We're gonna react to a little clip-a-rooney of a dude pretending to be a woman who got stood up on.
Oh, it's just... do you know what? Like, right, okay. My earlier content, I look back, and if I ever see some of it, I do cringe now. But it's just... I don't know. I don't know the word to use. It's interesting to watch. It's a little bit uncomfortable, if I'm being completely honest.
A dude pretending to be a woman who got stood up on his date. I wonder why.
A dude pretending to be a woman or like a trans-identifying man.
It's the same thing.
That's what I was trying to clarify.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I just got stood up for a date, and I'm not heartbroken. I'm disappointed because, I'm really happy with how my look came together today. It was going to be my first date.
Are you going to a farm? A hoedown?
They got the picnic tablecloth.
You dosey-doing somewhere? What are you doing?
Okay. We will come back to it in a moment. I'm trying to not... Oh gosh, she's relaxing into it. She's going to get sassy talking about me. No, I'm not going to get sassy. I think for someone to critique someone else's appearance, you need to be the most best dressed, stunning, fabulous, gorgeous outfit, fashionista in the world. That's all I'm going to say there.
Go ahead, Nina. I can tell you're going. We're letting Nina pause. If you want to let us know to pause, just say something so we could pause it.
Yeah, I have a question about this particular. My God, I have a question about the TikTok. Is this the trans woman that is featured in that TikTok? Does it ever say like why she was stood up? Is it just cause, or was it because they didn't disclose? Like, Is there a story behind that? Like
Nothing that's been alluded to. No context was given. Just merely statements that I was stood up.
I was stood up, and then they're like, I think I look cute today, and they're making a video about it. That's all I'm getting from it so far.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. I do think it's interesting to have someone who's a man pretending to be a woman criticizing how lesbians dress. I'm sorry that you don't understand that lesbians usually come out in flannels and t-shirts and jeans, but that's kind of like the whole thing for most of them. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to put on a costume of woman. I am a woman. So if you want to criticize me because I don't look the part of woman you want to see, that's because you don't know what a woman really is.
Well, and it plays into, I mean, I know that women or lesbian women can be the stereotype, like you said, like the flannel and the hats and the jeans. And I'm definitely very much a tomboy. I always was a tomboy. That's just who and what I am. My wife, for example, though, she's the complete opposite. Like she's the glam and the dresses and the makeup and all that. So we're really not all the same. We're just different as far as how we dress and what we like.
Yeah, and that doesn't make one correct or incorrect. The commentary I think that was cut out completely was the you compared it to children's clothing.
Yeah,
and I defended against that, which God forbid we talk about that for a second. But
who made these rules that you have to be stunning in order to criticize someone's looks? I mean, everyone.
Alexis just did.
Everyone can criticize anyone for any reason.
And let me ask a question too. Well, you know what? Let me watch a little bit more before I question anything because I want to get the whole,
shebang,
the whole deal.
Also, why is she wearing sunglasses? She's inside. I can see the glare from the lights. It's so distracting. Yeah, I don't really feel it's just coming across as bitter and bitchy, if I'm being completely honest. I'm not really learning anything. There's no social commentary. There's no personal identity and opinions. It's just bitchy. And it's
We're not lesbians or anything.
Helpful, positive in any way. Like, anyway, let's watch some more. We'll watch the original video of the date in a moment. I do want to see that to give my opinion on that too.
Pearls. Oh, is that a signal? Are you trying to signal to your date you want a pearl necklace?
The outfit. I've definitely seen actual women wearing outfits like that.
Okay, where were they going?
Usually it's like a sundress. They're going out to a picnic or something, day kind of summertime event.
Okay.
So I'm not saying it's not something that I've seen adults wear.
Okay.
Just to be fair.
Okay. Sorry, I'm going in and out of this. The brunette one seems to be a bit uncomfortable, just from what I'm gathering and sensing. I think the brunette one thinks the blonde one's going to, well, we'll call her blonde. I think she thinks she's going a bit too hard on this person and defending it. What does it matter? What does it matter what someone...
Go ahead.
Alexis, darling, she said, I'll call it a blonde. Very nice, Alexis Flake.
Oh yeah, but she's not gonna get sassy. I'm not uncomfortable. I'm discussing the difference in opinion, as boring or uninteresting as it might be to you. I am defending the community that you say we're doxing. I don't know. Yeah, and the perception of it as being in like a fear state or like I don't agree. I clearly don't agree. That's why I spoke the fuck up. Like what? What?
The blonde one's very domineering.
That blonde one over there with the sunglasses can't attack the blind one because she obviously needs the glasses.
The critical drinker always wears sunglasses. Tim Dillon always wears sunglasses. No one gets on their ass about that, but heaven forbid a woman decides she wants to wear sunglasses indoors because she doesn't feel like doing her makeup one day. Heaven forbid.
Yeah, they were trying to say you had a lazy eye and shit in the comments.
Lazy eye. Yes, I'm blind.
That should have me cracked up.
No offense, blind people. I love you all.
Yeah, they were like, and there was like one person who was like, I think she just doesn't want to do her makeup. Everyone else is like, I bet she's got a lazy eye. She's got
a lazy eye.
Oh yeah.
This is the lovely world of the internet, I must say. And
how dare you attack?
And, here's the thing with Alexis. And so I've never met her. I've never talked to her. I have talked to a lot of other people that have talked to her and says that she's very lovely and very nice. So I really don't know what's up. I'm kind of surprised she picked this to put on her channel, honestly, because she's usually not into the like this type of critique. I don't know. I'm surprised by it.
I think a lot of people see the rage bait, and then we're kind of a perfect target because Nina loves a rage bait.
Well, and
I'm sassy.
And I wasn't. I've been on the fence about Alexis only because that thing that she put out about the UK law, the Supreme Court justification thing, whatever it is. It's not a justification. The Supreme Court clarification in the UK law from like 2010, that thing like blew up. And, I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. And I thought she was very hyperbolic about it. And I talked about it on my channel. And I got this feeling from Alexis that she's really, really sensitive about her transition process and all that. And I didn't realize that until I saw that. And I was like, I felt like she was fear mongering a little bit, especially because she's got a pretty big platform. And for her to come out and be like, oh my God, the sky is falling. I was a little bit disappointed to see that because I thought she was a little bit tougher, like, I don't know. Like, I'm just sort of disappointed with Alexis Blake lately. And I wish that there was a way to bridge a gap, but I don't know that she cares to.
I think, as you know, I messaged Alexis Blake on Instagram.
Yeah, you told me you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the conclusion with that, though?
The conclusion was, you guys really hurt my feelings. So we're not going to talk about policy. We're not going to talk about why you guys feel this way. You misgendered me. Hope you guys get nicer in the future. Was the entire crux of the conversation.
So here's my take on misgendering real quick. If you're being deliberately nasty, I guess, to be harassing someone, I don't think that's right. I don't think we should do that. But I also am the kind of person, because of course I see all these gender critical people out there and they actually criticize me because, for example, I call Buck Angel a he. And they'll say to me, oh, no, Buck Angel's a she. Wah. And I'm like, no. I'm not going to police your speech, so don't police mine.
Right.
That way you can kind of still talk and work together on things. But if you're policing people's speech and you're censoring people either which way, even if it's not the preferred way you want to be talked about, because obviously Alexis wants to be referred to as a she. I have no problem with that. I kind of see if she was walking around with a beard, I would feel very differently about that. But I see the effort to have an actual transition. And I don't know what the reasoning is behind it. I think it's because they had crippling gender dysphoria based on what I've watched of hers over the course of time. But there are a lot of people out there, and I don't think Alexis gets this, it's particularly women that have been forced into situations with trans women that they're very uncomfortable with, and they've gotten to the point that they've taken a stand and said, you know what? I'm not going to use pronouns. I'm not going to do this anymore. There are a lot of people out there like that, right, wrong, or indifferent or whatever. It's a thing. Just like there's people out there that think I'm going to go to hell because I'm a lesbian. They're out there. I'm not going to change their mind. They're going to say things to me that are horrible, and it is what it is. Now, it's not to say that we should be pieces of shit about stuff, because we shouldn't, and I don't think you guys are at all. I think this has to do with your style of the way you curate your content. And I don't know what she's missing about that, considering that you could do the same thing with Blair White. You could go on, and I've met Blair White. She's a very nice person. I like her content a lot, but I don't agree with everything she says either. And sometimes she can come across kind of like a bully, but that's part of her character. That's part of her shtick. And so she's going after you guys, but she could do the same thing to Blair White. But let's see, what's the difference? That's what I want to know. What's the difference?
Blair has more followers, subscribers.
More of an audience. She doesn't want to piss off. Yeah.
Probably.
I'd assume that's number one. And then number two, Blair is trans also. And for a lot of individuals that are trans and trying to dictate the narrative, they say the only valid opinion is that of a trans person. And even the lesbians, the gays, if you're not trans, it doesn't matter.
See, and that's the problem, is that it feels like sometimes that people in that space are allowed to say what they want, but people over in the other part of the LGBT space are not. Like, there's a big divide. There's a big split even within the community. And I'm not sure that Alexis is aware of that. I don't know. I think she has to be, because she's got a big enough platform. She's out there publicly. So, but again, I haven't ever spoken to her, so I don't know. And I have no idea. But so I'm just taking it based on footage that I see. That's all, you know?
Oh yeah. I do think that Alexis is hurt by the misgendering, is hurt by the concept. And I did recognize, because I know Alexis brought up the original video that we made about her. I did bring up in the conversation, like, I did not know who you were, what you did. So when I saw you, I saw a man and I said he. If that is a problem for you, I'm sorry, but everyone else you know is going to address you as she, her, this, that, and the other thing. Online, you are opening yourself up to critique. We open ourselves up to it, and we know that we come across harsh. But at the end of the day, you don't make as much progress unless you are ruffling feathers. And yes, we know that some of the stuff we say it's to the extreme.
Controversial.
It's controversial,
Yeah.
but it pulls people in to hear what you have to say. It pulls
Right.
people in to hear, oh my gosh, well, this is actually, we don't say it to be mean, but this is actually a man who is dictating what we can and cannot do. This is a man who is saying that we are not woman enough.
Mhm.
I'm not
Right.
saying he to Alexis, but at the end of the day, you are someone who has male chromosomes, a male build, and who is looking at two lesbians and saying, you're not womanly enough to say what makes me a woman. That is it's a very self-absorbed perspective. And to say that you're part of a community, to try and be part of a community, you're never going to get that way. I will respectfully call you she. Don't tell me who I should be dating, what I should be respecting, and that lesbian is not a female exclusive term.
And that's what I wanted to ask about too. Did she say that in this?
At the
Did
end of the
she
video,
say-
she does say that I'm sure a lot of lesbians would date a trans woman.
Oh, okay. Well, let's continue.
But that doesn't. But they're not a lesbian. Like, hold
That's
on.
not a lesbian.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
Yes,
exactly.
let's
They're
talk about
not
it
a
amongst
lesbian.
lesbians.
They're not a lesbian then. They're bisexual or pansexual or whatever you want to call it. They're not a lesbian. A lesbian is an exclusively same-sex attracted female. Full stop.
The
And that's
end.
the thing, is that they're conflating terms. People are changing terminology
Yes.
to fit a particular narrative, and it is absolutely pissing off lesbians. Let me tell you something. There is a fierce group of them out there that are not happy that they're being grouped in with this stuff when that's not who they are. And then when they try to speak out about it, they're called, what are they called? A TERF, a transphobe, this thing, that thing, the other thing. Like, and that's what people are sick of. And that's what people are irritated about. Like, that being called a TERF means absolutely nothing anymore. Trans people are called a TERF when they don't go along with a specific format of the ideology. And, you know, I get it. I get why people are just over it at this point. You know, the name calling, it's trivial. It's very, very trivial in that way. And again, I'm sure she would come back and say, well, what you guys said and how you made fun of that person and what they were wearing, that was trivial. Well, maybe it was. It's not my style in particular, but other people have you could go on anybody's YouTube, take something I said, take something someone else said a certain way, or, you know, an angle in a particular way. If you edit a particular clip, and all of a sudden you're villainized. That's a very easy thing to do. And I think she would know that, considering she's on camera all the time talking. So I don't know. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah. All right. Let's continue on.
Carry on.
Someone else wears, like, you're two grown-ass women. Grow up. Seriously. It baffles me. Like, there's a girl I see on Instagram. I'm going to talk about. I'll not be able to find her. I follow her. She's just a woman living a life. I think she lives in New York. She wears fabulous. She's got like neon green hair with like boots that are like dinosaur feet. And she'll wear like giant pink fluffy jackets with bright orange tutu skirts and 7 and necklaces and fabulous. Like she'll turn like a bag of Doritos into a handbag. Crazy, phenomenal stuff. I don't personally like it. I would never wear it. But I don't go out of my way to put her down because she's confident, she's living her life, and she's feeling her best self. So I think in 2025, we just need a little bit more of that. Call out behavior you don't like and things that you disagree with, but just being bitchy about someone's appearance. Like, grow up. Come on. Right, okay. Back to it. The podcast bros. Oh, no, sorry, the podcast button. No, the panic button. Oh.
I've seen children wear
Oh, no,
stuff
you
like that.
must-
Just
yeah.
with a pearl necklace. Sorry, I'm salty today, so these things happen.
It's not like overalls and like children's cartoons and stuff. It's something I could see an adult wearing. You know what I mean?
okay.
Do you not agree?
I'll agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
But the intention, I think, is a little different.
I don't know what you said or how you got there, but I'm not going to discredit the fact that you like at least wore a dress and shit. Sure, cool, good try.
Oh my god, I'm so bored. Right, I'm going to fast forward through this video to find some slightly interesting content if there is anything here. It's just critiquing someone, like, what is that about? I don't understand. Like, there's some other sections where they keep flipping back to the original video, which I promise we'll watch in a second. Just bear with me.
How could somebody critique somebody else? Whoa!
And that's literally what she's doing, though. She's critiquing you guys. She's doing the same thing that she claims to not like.
Whoa, critiquing. But let me
Am I
just-
wrong?
No, you're completely right. And I think that's what we're realizing the more and more that I watch like the content or had the conversation is that this is a very selfish person. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm not saying that
It's
to
a
be
very
aggressive.
superficial
You care only about how you
person.
feel. If it hurts your feelings, now it's okay for you to do whatever you want to do. But they can't do it. Only you can do it because your feelings are hurt. It's kind of crazy. Like, I'm not saying you're crazy. I'm saying the thought process is kind of mental to say, I can judge you, but how dare you judge someone else? Who made you God? So
But someone else who's pretending to be someone else, who is a man pretending to be a woman.
defending a man pretending to be a woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now I'm there. All right.
Against women who are saying that we don't agree with this, but we're supposed to call out behavior that we don't agree with. But God forbid it upsets anyone.
It's very contradictory.
What's interesting to me, because I've watched a lot of Alexis Blake's content, and I actually was a pretty big fan up until recently because of her reaction to, I mean, that's not to say I'm never going to watch her again or that, I'm blacklisting her or anything like that. But what I'm noticing here is that she's going harder on you guys in this than she does on, say, like Lily Tino. And Lily Tino is a dangerous, problematic person in the trans community. And I don't see her going as hard on people like that. She talks about it, but I feel
Well,
like
I mean,
she's
it's easy for a man to bash women. What do you expect?
It's
Typical.
easy for someone to judge someone else. And that's, I guess, the point that's being made solely in this is that everyone judges everyone. And that if you don't want people judging you, don't post about it online. But as far as I'm concerned, we are consenting to it by doing these videos every single day. We consent to it. You're gonna bully us. People call us fat. I'm not surprised. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, it's nothing I haven't heard before. Just like Alexis definitely got called a man for at least 25 years before any of this changed. So I'm sorry, but it shouldn't hurt your feelings that badly.
Well, and my thing about just when I think about it, when I put it into context, right? So Alexis has been transitioned for what, maybe 5 years? I'm not really sure. I don't know the timeline of events,
Something like that.
from memory. I don't follow that closely, but I'm just taking a stab at it. Maybe it's 5 years. So 5 years ago, she lived her life as a gay man, actually. So they've been on like the other side of the fence and in another space within LGBT. So it's weird because I would think that she could recognize that there's other positions and there's other vantage points to look at things. I mean, obviously she's not going to understand the lesbian experience because she's, one, not a biological woman, and two, obviously not a lesbian then. But I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I'm not really sure what's going on here. I can't fully figure it out. I wish I could call her up and be like, can we just talk about this, please? Because like,
Oh, there are better
You know?
people to talk to.
And I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day is this is hurt feelings. I think that's exactly what this is because I tried to have the productive policy conversation and it divulged into you hurt my feelings, you hurt my feelings,
yeah.
you hurt my feelings, be nicer. And that's fine, but that's not how you actually make progress. And I can try and talk to anyone about this kind of stuff. I've talked to a lot of very left-leaning people about these exact kind of things, but when it doesn't move past you hurt my feelings, we need to talk about the actual reason why this is happening. If you don't, you're just gonna continue to have this, oh no, woo hoo hoo, wah wah wah, look at me crying on the internet. And it's sad, honestly. I feel bad that it consumed so much of her physical hurt feelings.
If I'm going to be honest, I think the reason why is because trans women have been coddled, so they can't take the heat. For being completely honest, they can't take it. A lot of them.
But here's the thing, with her in particular, is she's spoken very explicitly about understanding biology, right? So I've heard her talk about that, about how she knows she's a biological man. She knows she's not a real woman. And I'm wondering if she thinks that by you guys referring to her as he when something was said or done, that it was like, I'm deliberately trying to exploit this woman or this trans woman is for being trans and I'm going to call you he no matter what, rah, rah, rah. Like it's that kind of gender critical type of move. You see, but I don't know because
I think it's
speculating.
It's a good take because I feel like Alexis didn't dive any deeper than this one video, which I would say is not the best representation of the stuff we do on our channel. You got one of the more rage-filled ones, and you put that out there to make
That's
us
not
look
even the worst one.
No, but she got one of the
I'm
more
much meaner than that.
She got one of the more rage-filled videos, put it up there, and said, "How could they? This is the problem in the community. This is the problem, not the fact that I'm telling you that lesbians can have sex with men."
Also, did you see the like ratio to dislike ratio on that video?
It's at like 12 or 13%.
Yeah.
On this video?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's got like 735 likes to like 140 dislikes. So,
oh,
yeah,
Okay. But it's just critiquing this individual for there's just no need.
Okay, I think the reason I'm recording this is is it fishing for sympathy? Maybe. But also might be a good takeaway to show that hey, when shitty things like this happen to you, you're still smart, you're still hot, you're still the shit, you know? I'm gonna go find something else to do with my day where I can still wear this outfit because, I look really nice. So yeah, I don't know. Oh well, anyway, this might have been the nail in the coffin for me, for men, because of course it was a man who did this, and might have to just exclusively date women.
No, we're not doing that. No, what are you doing?
I was literally going to be okay.
Woman, unless she thinks she's a man, is going to date him. Not a lesbian. I'll tell you that right now. Lesbians ain't happening, brother. Lesbians will never date you.
I can't. I'm turning it off. There's another 9 minutes of this garbage, but I'm not going to put you or me through it. We're going to watch the video now. I'm going to try and find the original video.
Do you have anything to say? I see that you're cackling.
Can't take the heat.
So, Nina, you and I have talked about this a lot about the lesbians, trans woman thing, and all of that. And I don't know what this person. I don't know if this trans woman in the video was being sarcastic when they said that.
They have a picture on there. I took a screenshot. I could actually send it to you, but it says, "I love being a trans for trans lesbian." So
a trans for trans lesbian. So does that mean? So basically, it's a gay man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I have the screenshot. I could pull it up, but it won't come up on the screen. So but they got so mad at us for saying that. But you're literally taking the word lesbian and shitting on it. You're saying this means nothing.
Yeah, I wish they could come up with another terminology for themselves because they seem to borrow a lot of terms that don't entirely make sense in their space, but claim that it makes sense in their space. Even if they called themselves I think Buck said it once, like a transbian or something like that. I don't know. I don't know.
That you're trans.
Yeah.
And it, you know, and it's like, to me, like, it's just sort of this whole thing with trans. I feel bad for people that really are trans and they're just trying to live their life. And then they've got all this other globbed on terminology occurring in the background. And, you know, I don't know. It just sucks. This is bleak, you know, as far as people that actually are going through something enough to where they feel like they have to transition, and they're leaving people the F alone, right? They're not they're not being disgusting. They're not being a Jeffrey Marsh, you know, they're not being weird. They're not talking to kids.
They're not trying to compete in sports. They're just trying to live a regular ass life.
Right. And those are the things that, and that's all a miss. Like, because we're outspoken about some of those problems, everybody just says, you're a TERF, go fuck yourself. And it's like, no, actually, we do care about the transsexual community, but you don't want to hear it because you can't handle one disagreement. You know what I mean? This is a nuanced conversation, or so I thought, but I don't know. I think it's very all or nothing for some of these people.
I agree. This video's done, right?
I mean, Alexis has a lot more to say. Just like
Oh,
you.
about us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
You know, yeah, you thought it was done because she said it was the end, but she's got a
Okay.
lot of opinions on you.
Video. What I will say, there's a whole debate about trans people and being honest and open about if they're trans before meeting someone for their safety and just to be honest with the other person, which is my opinion on the matter. If you're a trans person, if I was going to date someone, obviously I'm engaged to Liam, but if I was going to go out into the dating world, which good God, no, but I would ensure it's on profiles. If I'm speaking to someone, they would know straight away because it's just a part of my identity that someone should know about. First things first. Second thing, I don't think you can classify all lesbians to not dating a trans woman. I'm sure there are some lesbians that would, and maybe different sexualities that would. So it's just bullying. And this person, right, this trans woman.
Sorry.
Different sexualities?
You mean not lesbian? The thing we have a problem with?
You mean bi?
Or pan, or I keep saying pan because people bring up that term to me a lot.
Yeah.
But we're right. Pan is all. But like, other than that, what other sexualities are there? Because the last time I checked, there's heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, and now they've introduced the term pansexual. What else is there? Who else are you going to date?
There's demisexual, which means that you care about how someone thinks and how they act, and this is just what happens when too many little girls spend time writing smut on their phones. They get in those fandoms and they come up with all these words and they think that they're cool and that they're edgy, and it's what it comes down to. And I wish it wasn't just that, but it's really what it is.
It's because of the whole gender thing, you know. If it was just sex, then it was lesbians, gays, and bis. But when you redefine what gender is to be some sort of personality trait in your fucking head, well, then you can just create anything. And then you have Z gender and foo-foo gender. And it's like, oh, well, now your sexuality changes because the straight woman is dating someone who has a foo-foo gender. So now they're pansexual because it encompasses all retarded personalities. It makes no sense.
I was with someone who identified as a trans man for like 2 years. And the whole time...
Oh, but she's fucking a guy now, isn't she?
Yes. The whole time she asked me to call her she and asked the world to call her he and all this crazy stuff. And I'm not saying everyone's like that, but I will say that's the mentality of a lot of the ones in their 20s who are doing this. And because I asked the same question, do you want me to still call myself a lesbian? Because if you don't want to be considered a woman, I was 20. Don't stop looking at me like that. I was like, I need to know where I'm coming from with this because I don't want to look like an asshole to everyone we know, calling you she while everyone else is calling you he. And it was one of the most confusing relationships I've had in my life. And that's nothing to say about the entire community, but it's something to say about a small section of them that really don't know what the hell they're doing here and just want to be viewed as edgy and different. And that's the problem that we have.
Yeah. You know, I've been told by a lot of trans people that are well-adjusted, living their lives, doing their thing, that when you transition, with transition comes a certain amount of sacrifice. And you don't get everything you want because transition is a very serious thing, which, by the way, we've now normalized it to be not a big deal, which is another problem, but we won't go down that rabbit hole at the moment. But it's a serious thing, and you don't get everything that you want. My friend Jessica Gill, the one that was been in the Jubilee debates and all that, she doesn't even use the ladies' room, not because she's scared, but because she has listened to biological women, really listened and been like, you know what? That's probably not good. I'm just going to use the men's room because I can very well defend myself if I have to. Like, stop with the nonsense about everybody is in danger all the time. You know, females are the weaker sex regardless. And that is something that is ignored in the name of the trans stuff. Yes. And then before you know it, we have to make accommodations for everything. And then the AGPs start leaking into it. And then it's, you know, I can get naked in this, you know, bathroom and, you know, expose my genitalia in front of other women. And it's fine because I identify as a woman. And I cannot imagine that Alexis Blake would agree with that. I cannot imagine that she would think that that is okay, you know? And as far as her going in the ladies' room, like, she's probably just doing her thing and like whatever. And people probably do notice sometimes, and then other times people might not. But the thing is, women, they do see these things by design. We are built to look for danger. We just are. And this idea that, you know, I think women are very polite sometimes, and what they're actually thinking in their head is something very different than what they're saying out loud.
Oh, absolutely.
We are trained to be nice, to keep sweet. We are taught those things as children and grow up into thinking that that's how we have to be. When sometimes the way we react to discomfort is to be polite, even to danger. I have been in dangerous situations where I've still doubted myself and been like, is it me? Like, you know, and we have to stop doing things like that. And I think that some of the trans backlash stuff, she's going to interpret that as an attack on her. And she really shouldn't, because as far as I know, she's not really doing anything wrong, you know, so why is she taking it so personally? I just really don't think she sees the whole picture. And that's the bottom line for me, I guess.
Because she is a man and has never actually lived as a woman. So she has never actually felt threatened by men in a way that, like, in the way women feel threatened, you know? It's a completely different entity. And someone like Jessica Gill has more empathy for women and what we have to go through than someone like this, who has absolutely no empathy for how we have to walk the world. Did you ever see that video of that woman who was walking through New York City and she kept getting catcalled and had like dudes following her and shit?
It's an older
It's an older video, but it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. There were dudes following her for streets and streets and streets and blocks, just like trying to talk to her and get her number. And it was creepy how many men were just coming onto her. And I'm like, if she didn't have a freaking dude who was filming her, she would have been in some serious freaking trouble, because there were way too many men who seemed like they were going to be hostile.
Yeah.
As soon as she like tried to push them away, their advances away. And that, like, I've had to deal with those situations numerous times within my life. I know that you have, and I know that you have, but him, he hasn't. Not in the way that women have, and seriously, not as often. And I think that's a disconnect as well.
Right. And, you know, when I was younger, I especially was told by creepy men in bars that I just didn't have the right dick. And I was in some compromising situations where I had to get myself out of it because I was actually afraid I was going to get R-worded. And so there's that. And quick story, you know, not that I'm consider myself a conservative, but I was much more really, really super liberal, didn't understand what was going on in this space for quite a while before I got into this. several years ago. And what the tipping point for me was, I was at a gym working out, and it was like a small gym that was attached to like my community. And I was working out, and there was this guy there, and he kept coming back at the same time I was there. And I just thought it was weird, but I didn't think anything of it. And I gave myself a mental slap about it, because I'm supposed to not be judgmental, right? And I got there one day, I'm on the elliptical, and the guy was sitting on the, like, one of those little bike things. And he whipped it out and started masturbating right in front of me. And I saw it in the mirror, and he was like staring at me. And I got off the bike, and I got my jacket, and I started walking towards the door. Well, he got up off the bike, put his thing away, starts walking towards the door, goes over near where the weight section is. And as I'm coming to walk out the door to get away, he cuts me off at the door. And in that moment, I was like, this is it. I'm finally #me too, because I never had anything come that close. Right. So I thought, this is it. It's done. I'm going to have to fucking fight for my life right now. Well, by the grace of God, some other girl was coming into the gym, and she opened the door, and I was at that point in a complete panic. And you could probably see it on my face. And I just ran the fuck out the door, tried to go get help, but it was this whole big thing. I did call 911, but I was terrified because that girl went in.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if she was still there or what was going on, because I had ran away in a panic. The point is that that was the day that I thought, this is why some women are 150% against trans women going in their spaces.
Amen. Amen.
That was the day I understood why, because really horrible, awful things have happened to women. And it just lit something up in my brain that was like, you know what? We're all being trained to be kind when we really shouldn't have to be. So,
and that's the thing that I think Nina gets through the best, is like, she just doesn't give a fuck about what you have to say about her meanness. And it might come across as a little mean sometimes, but honestly, most women are so filtered that it's kind of refreshing to hear someone just lose their shit and be like, this is unacceptable. And you might dislike it, you know, some people might dislike it, but I mean, I think a lot of people find it a lot more comforting to see that, like, you've broken women down. They're done. They're done with a lot of the crazy shit that's happening. It's unfortunate for the people that aren't crazy. It's unfortunate for the good people out there.
Right.
But if you're going to let it keep running rampant, then this is how it's going to be, and it's going to be more dynamic on both sides.
Well, and it's interesting, because it's like, there's a lot of people that group people like us as TERFs as the bad ones, no matter what, right? And they usually sit on the very far left of things, where they're like, I'm going to do what I want, when I want, how I want, screw you, right? But then you have the really gender critical people that are on the right side of things. And let me tell you, they attack me all the time. They call me a troon sympathizer. They tell me that, you know, I sympathize with them and I shouldn't, and trans isn't even a real thing, and this and that.
Yeah.
So we get stuck in the middle too. We're getting crap from both sides in a way that I think is unique from some other content creators, you know, that you're either positioned yourself as a far right conservative, or you've positioned yourself as more of a leftist. And I don't do that. Like, I am 100% independent, and I try to take things case by case, you know, and I will, she says, call out bad behavior. Well, that's kind of what you guys do, maybe not in this instance, in this clip necessarily, besides the trans lesbian thing. I get that. That I understand. That has to be corrected. That the terminology that people use that is definitionally wrong, and it leads people to believe that being a lesbian is something that it isn't.
Yeah. And that also leads, if you're telling me that you're a trans lesbian, that tells me, like, based on just the videos that I've seen, this person doesn't have any standards for who they're going to date. They just
somebody.
want somebody so bad. And so it didn't matter if it was a man, a woman, whoever. This person just wanted it so badly that they couldn't shut their mouth up about it. And that's sad. That's not like a good thing. I think this person is enjoying the clout. I think that they're enjoying the attention because they're posting all about it. But at the same time, it was such a nothing video that we never revisited it. And that's the thing at the end of the day. We have a lot more content with a lot better views and a lot better opinions. And I'm sorry that you found one of our like not so great videos, but at the same time, I don't think we're being as mean as you say we are. And I think even so that you're giving it back to just say it's wrong. It's not showing understanding the situation. It's showing Mimi, this community is mine. Okay.
Well, and I think that, you know, that individual, that young person, they obviously probably deep down inside, they probably want to be understood, right? I have no idea. They probably want to be understood, and that's great. But I also think that a lot of these young people subscribe to very dangerous ideology, and they don't understand that they're living sort of in a silo with this stuff, and it's not really how the real world thinks about things and approaches things. You know, I mean, I don't know anything about. I've never watched that person's content, so I have no idea what they really think and how they feel. And they're young. They're young. They're very young. They're probably 20. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, they're very young, definitely. And my thought process with just the few videos I watched of Jones is that I truly do think that Joan was a man who never went on a date, so decided to become a woman.
So involuntary celibate?
I think that, I don't know for sure. I'm not saying that's 100%. I'm not saying that's facts. It just seems like a desperate person. And I don't mean that in a mean way. It seems like someone who is desperate to be heard and seen and loved, which we all are, but a little more desperate than other people. So yeah, that's what it comes down to. And I'm sorry if that came off as mean to anyone, but it's just what I've analyzed from that.
Okay.
You want to finish it?
Get this video. Get it on.
When the video looks really young, perhaps a bit insecure earlier in the transition, and she's figuring things out. She's probably terrified to put herself out there online. I know I was at the start. To have two grown women who are from within the LGBTQ alphabet community coming after for literally no reason. I think it's distasteful. I think if you're digging that deep for content, maybe the podcast, whatever your channel's called, is maybe not for you. I don't know. There's maybe other content you could talk about that's much more valuable, like, oh, talk about your lesbian experience, talk about your life, talk about people you date. Like, that to me is so much more interesting than just coming after someone else from the LGBT community. You know, let's find the original video because I want to see what this trans girl's all about. Oh my god, 9 more minutes. What, like, they've run out of stuff to say already, and there's another 9 minutes of footage. What can they possibly say? Also, flashing back to when she made that leap from the trans woman wearing pearls to an inappropriate sexual innuendo. I hear crickets.
She's not gonna finish it?
Okay, I found the video.
No, she doesn't. She said there's 9 minutes left. What can they say? Watch it. Find out. Maybe it's about our lesbian experience. Maybe it's about why we don't want men identifying as lesbians. But that's not what you want to hear. So you're going to skip over it and play the original video from Joan to make us look like pieces of shit a little bit more.
See, I come from a...
Was that?
I'm sorry, Nina. Go ahead.
Okay. I come from a different time. You do too. I grew up on In Living Color, Mad TV, where humor was crude. You know, George Carlin, a whole.
That's also
Richard
just the comedy
Pryor.
you like.
That's the comedy I like. So that's kind of where I go with it. And it's fun for me. And if you don't like it because you're up on your pedestal, looking down at us peasants, making jokes that you don't like, well, stay in your little cocoon, because there's a lot of people out there who are so much meaner than me and don't give a flying fig.
Oh, there are people that have no tolerance or space for anybody that's trans, which I think is wrong.
Why don't we send this to a slightly twisted female? I'm sure she could be a lot meaner than Nina.
Right?
Oh, I've seen some of that, and
I can't. Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry. It's just too much for me.
Too much for me too. And I can't even imagine what Alexis would think.
Yeah, we're bad.
Cannot imagine. She would be her head would probably explode. She'd be like, what? She'd be like, what? There's people like this that exist, and it's like, yes, there are people like this that exist that are really, really awful.
Oh yeah.
But I think what Alexis is doing here is she's just fixating on the fact that you kind of poke fun at something, which I'm not surprised by because I know you guys. and this is, and I can't emphasize this enough, is that every single person on their platforms, on their channels, has said something or done something or had an opinion maybe that turned out to be wrong, or said something that came off mean. Like, I have gone off a couple times even on my little channel and been like, what the fuck about something, and then later I'm like, maybe I was a little bit harsh, but that's me and my personality and whatever. Everybody's
perfect.
different, but she's fixating. She's fixating on that one thing. And I don't know that she's really interested because you guys did that. She's like, well, I don't really care what you have to say, which I don't know if that's fair.
Why'd you choose the video if you think it's so boring? She said herself, it's boring. That's why I'm ending this video. I'm not watching anymore. If it's so boring, then why did you post the video? If it's so boring, then why are you talking about it? Because if it was boring, you wouldn't. It's not boring. It's actually so irritating to you that you had to speak about it and only chose the sections where we're not explaining why we're being mean.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. I mean, you have fun with that. Do it all you want. It's never going to prove the point. It shows that your community, at least from your perspective, gets to choose what is okay and what is not okay. And that's the whole problem we have here.
Yeah, they get to choose what's okay and not okay, especially for lesbians.
Well, and I'd like to point out too, because she said something words to the effect of, you're part of the LGBTQ community. And it's like, well, LGBT is not a monolith. Like, okay, like that's the other thing, is that not everybody thinks and does things the same, or has the same perspective, or has the same politics even. Which is, I know that, a lot of people, oh my God, how could you not, how could you vote this way or do that thing? And it's like, because to me, something like politics, that's an ever-changing thing. The way you feel at one moment about a certain president or whoever might change over time, or you might, come up with new information that gives you new insight into something. But, again, fixation, she's fixating on that. And she's free to have her opinion about that, but she doesn't see the whole picture of your channel. Clearly, she does not. She really doesn't.
She was like 5 minutes of content, by the way. Yeah.
Watch it together. This is Joan. Here we go.
I just got stood up for a date, and I'm not heartbroken. I'm disappointed because, I'm really happy with how my look came together today. It was going to be my first date since transitioning. We were going to go get ice cream and stuff, but it wasn't meant to be. But let's look at my look, because I put all this together and I want to show you. That my purse is broken. It's not broken. It just kind of spilled a little bit, but whatever. Okay. I think the reason I'm recording this is is it fishing for sympathy? Maybe, but also might be a good takeaway to show that hey, when shitty things like this happen to you, you're still smart, you're still hot, you're still the shit. I'm gonna go find something else to do with my day where I can still wear this outfit because I look really nice. So yeah, I don't know. This might have been the nail in the coffin for me for men, because of course it was a man who did this, and might have to just exclusively date women from here on out. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't really feel any kind of way about that video. I mean, it's just a trans woman sharing a little story online. She's clearly nervous filming. I think she maybe was more upset than she let on. Filming might be, I don't know, I've not seen much of her other content, but she seemed a little bit nervous in herself to filming. She was sort of stuttering over her own words and stuff, which everyone is when you start on I stuttered as I was talking about stuttering. Okay, talking about social media, when you make content, the early days, it's like cringe at my old stuff. I even cringe now. Like I would cringe at stuff I did a few months ago, and then it keeps going like that. But I don't have many issues. Like she's just transitioning, figuring out life, like I have done myself, and many other trans people do. And I don't want anyone to criticize passability of trans women. Like for me, if someone's trying, if they're making an effort to transition, showing they're transitioning and expressing their new identity, that for me is, I love that, and I think she's doing a fabulous job of that. She's finding her own feet in the world and figuring out who she is. And like I said, she's very young, so to see mainly the one in the white glasses coming for her, it was just a bit distasteful. I might have been a bit sassy earlier, so I'm sorry. I try and not get sassy, and I try and look at things from both sides. Let's talk about the other side. Let's talk about the other side, where the two lesbians.
Do you though, Alexis? Are you looking at things from both sides? Because she skipped the rest of your video.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of the explanation, just the before, the during, and then as soon as we went to go talk about it, bye.
Here's the thing, okay? People on the left, especially, and like the gender people, they like to really enforce this empathy thing, you know? And for me, I get caught up in being like, oh, am I being too mean? And then I'm like, stop it.
Yeah.
The world doesn't give a shit about your empathy. When there's a bad person, they don't give a shit about your empathy. You have to be aware. You can't just walk around the world being empathetic. You have to be vigilant, especially women. But when you're trying to force women to just be empathetic and sympathetic and not be vigilant and question people or second guess things, like, that's so fucking dangerous for women. And these guys will never understand it. They won't understand it. And that's fine. But don't be trying to tell women how we should fucking act and how we should see people or how we should think. Okay. We all have experiences like you do, I do, she does. And that's what makes our personalities eventually our personalities, because we've had experiences which have taught us certain things. And so now we have a different way of looking at things. Maybe one day he'll have the wake up call. But until then, I think he's going to be in his little echo chamber, afraid of everybody.
Well, I think that the video itself of the Joan, I keep forgetting her name, Joan. The video of Joan, it is pretty mild, like overall, except, at the end where they throw in the thing about dating women, and then this trans lesbian thing comes up, and that's really the crux of the issue, right? But the actual video itself, mild, whatever. It's this young trans person doing their thing. I don't know. I don't have a problem with that part, but I understand what your whole, what the picture was here, what the big picture was of the problem. Like, I get it, because I see it every day with this, what is a lesbian thing. And they're even now going backwards in the LGBT community, where they're saying that sexual orientation is a preference instead of a requirement, which is undoing decades of work that we did.
Because now it's a choice.
And now, to prove to people that it's not a choice and not a big deal. And now we're telling everybody that it's a choice and that it's a really big deal too. I wish we could get back to the days where being trans wasn't a big deal, because not everybody was doing it. It wasn't like, in vogue, and being LGB wasn't a big deal. Like, it's all turned on its head, and it's this weird inversion happening. I'm very, very concerned about all of it, because everyone's screaming about getting their rights taken away. And it's like, look at how you're acting, not her in particular necessarily, but just the community as a whole.
The thing that worries me the most about trans people calling themselves lesbians is that you have young, impressionable women who don't want to be exclusionary or mean or hurtful to people, and they see someone come up on their dating apps who's a trans lesbian. They don't want to have sex with someone who is a male, but they end up considering and sometimes even going as far as to do it because they have to know if that's truly a lesbian failing for them or not. Is this really something I can do as a lesbian? And I think that's the real harm of saying, like, oh, I'm just gonna date women now. I'm a trans lesbian. You can say you're a trans woman who's attracted to women. That's okay. I'm okay with that. But don't call yourself a trans lesbian. You're taking a word that has an actual definition, a real meaning, and you're literally just throwing it away. And you're confusing the young people also, and making a lot of these women have sexual experiences that they would rather have never had.
Yeah, that are probably traumatizing as well.
Well, and it's sort of like repackaged misogyny in a way,
Yeah.
because it used to be, like I said earlier, you know, this idea of you just haven't had the right dick or whatever.
Oh, but
And
it's a girl
now-
dick.
Yes, a princess wand is
Yeah.
the word that I've heard, which I'm like, wait a minute.
Joan
So-
calls it a gawk, a girl cock, gawk.
Jesus Christ.
This person,
She did?
Joan.
She did?
I don't have the videos. I wish I would have pulled them up. But yes, in a video, she's
Oh no.
another trans woman. Do you know what gawk is? It's girl cock.
See, this is where it's dangerous. This is where it's a problem.
Yep.
And is Alexis going to ignore that? Does she not see how misogynistic that is?
Oh, he'll ignore it. Without a doubt.
That's the thing, is it only is the one video, right? It's the one video that you want to choose to react to, not the fact that this person has said some things like they are a lesbian or that they have a girl cock. None of that really makes you upset, but the fact that lesbians are saying they don't like it makes you upset.
Oh man. Why?
Weird.
Is this video done
Why?
yet?
I mean,
God.
I think that it's just us getting told to be nice.
That's-
Why aren't you nicer? Yeah,
okay. Well, how long we got? We got.
Are you gonna finish it?
Oh, let's try.
Okay.
Because I try and look at everything from every side. The sick of trans women, the loud trans women, the narrative online that we're constantly seeing. And I get that because I'm sick of it too. And I'm trans myself. I get that. But I think to discredit and be cruel about all trans women, that just is, it's not very nice behavior. So have your issues with the trans people who are doing bad things. But this one got sort of swept up in the commotion and that negative hatred of trans women. Because that, don't make no mistake, in my opinion, the one with the white sunglasses hates trans women. Like, no trans woman could do something right in her eyes, no matter how well they pass, no matter how well they sound, no matter what they're wearing, no matter what they're doing. I think that lesbian will always find critique and heavy criticism of trans people because I just don't think they're like trans women. The other one, not so much. They were just sort of there along for the ride. But that's just my opinion on it.
And the other one.
What do you guys think? Am I being too harsh? Am I being a bit too critical?
Nah. But if you're gonna be harsh, at least go in harder.
She does ask the audience if she wants to do, if they want more.
And be funny. You can talk about pearl necklaces. You can trash me all you want. I mean, the sunglasses. Do better with that. Do better.
Make better jokes.
Make better jokes. At least make me laugh if you're gonna make fun of me. I could take it. I could take a lot. This, I mean, you could do better. You could do better. And yes, I can be me. It's just who I am. But
her statement, though, statement,
yes,
she said that no matter what,
Mhm.
you will always hate trans women.
Oh no.
Do you agree with what she said?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm friends with
No, I know.
trans women.
We love Blair.
I love Jessica.
Jessica Gill, we were saying earlier, we we connected on Twitter at least once, right?
Yeah, it's like one of the nicest people ever.
Jessica Gill is a really cool cat. Like, I freaking love her so
Exactly.
much because she gets it. She totally gets it.
She actually listens. That's what we're asking for, is just listen to the problems. And like I said, we will be respectful as long as you give respect back. That is really what it comes down to.
Mhm.
And I've been told I'm a man. In this video, she calls us the podcast boys or the panic boys or whatever it was. And you're gonna sit here and tell us, oh, you misgendered me. Like, it holds no water. It holds no water because it doesn't, at the end of the day, what someone else says about you should not affect you to the level that you are completely torn apart by it.
Oh, I'd also like to say that I now identify as it. Thank you, Alexis. I now have come into my own gender, and now I am it. Thank you.
Oh my God, that's always bothered me that people identify as it.
Yeah.
Like it's just like reduction, this reduced version of a human being or something that you don't have enough
Hi there, trash can.
self-respect. You don't have enough self-respect to refer to yourself as a person.
Right.
That's weird. That's weird to me. I always was like, what? Who came up with like? Because I remember back when in the gay community, like people that hated gays would be like, they'd call us it. Right?
Mhm.
It was an
Yeah.
insult. It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
used in a derogatory way. And now they're like like they're doing the reclaiming of the word queer and the reclaiming of the word it and all this baloney. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so but then they turn around and call people like me a self-hating queer. And I'm like, I think the most self-hating thing that you can do is refer to yourself or other people as a slur.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Screen sharing.
Oh my God. I'm such a dummy. Thank you. I would
She's
be
gonna
nowhere
bully me
without
later.
you.
She's gonna bully me later. Sorry, I just like to joke.
Right.
Oh my goodness. You two are cute.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, that video was just, I mean, you took 5 minutes and said, they're jerks. Thanks for your time. So I don't know. Good for you. I hope you got the views you wanted. I hope you got the comments you wanted. I hope, you got whatever you needed out of that little catharsis.
It made me laugh.
I'm just sad that you couldn't have worked it out because it's like not that serious. The whole thing is really not as bad as
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
we
being
couldn't.
made out to be.
We couldn't. I tried. To the same extent, I said, I never misgendered you when having this conversation. And in relation to the video that we made about the Supreme Court ruling or whatever it was that happened there, I said I didn't know who you were. I have no information on who you were, and to me, it looked like you were a male identifying as trans, and so I chose to use those pronouns. I'm sorry you didn't like it. I can continue to call you she, but let's talk policy. And it was, you need to be nicer. I just saw the video where you called me. You said the estrogen went to my brain. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
but is that wrong? Because isn't the whole point of estrogen to make you more feminine and more emotional? When you take estrogen, does it not increase your emotions? And from what I saw, it was a very emotional video.
Mhm.
So I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings, but I still don't think that it's necessarily wrong to say that the estrogen is causing you to be emotional. Yeah, it was things like
be.
that. Yeah, it's things like that. And then following through with like, well, what policies do you have an issue with? We have an issue with men pretending to be women and then coming and taking over things that we like. Oh, well, you guys just called people names. So there was no productive conversation. There was no olive branch to be extended. I did say that I hope that Alexis gets thicker skin in the future because this is crazy.
I bet Alexis is a gas at a comedy club.
very selfish perspective for a lot of it. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's really too bad.
yeah. It's unfortunate because I especially out of me or Nina, if you were gonna get someone hitting you up, I think people would prefer me
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be as mean. But
Although I've had people reach out to me and
Yeah.
I think they got some balls on them.
yeah, no, people definitely reach out to you. But at the same time, I'm not gonna like Alexis after that. And I'm sorry that I have to say that so candidly, but after the conversation and everything, I don't find you to be a content creator worth any time. I find you to be someone who only talks about your experience and your exclusive
Mhm.
experience. And as much as you want to see that, I don't. I care about the state of the world right now. I care about how other lesbians in the community feel.
Okay, Jaden Smith.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to pick up on it.
You're like a crusader.
But like at the same time, you can sit there and be like, oh, me, but that doesn't
Mhm.
help your group. It doesn't help the people that you're defending right now. It doesn't help you to be like, oh, you just misgendered them. We're trying to figure out like what we disagree on. And the only thing that we disagree on is that I called you he. From what the statement is, that's it. So
Right.
All right, everyone, like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.
we'll link Vicky in the description, sorry.
In the
And,
description.
and please go check her out. She needs the lovin's.
I need the lovin's.
Yeah, get that channel popping.